Yo, what's going on YouTube? I'm Nick, back again with another video, and in today's video, I have a key from last week at 21 Ruby Life Pools, and we're going to go over it. So, in this week, I was playing the new Onslaught build that's just come out, so I was still getting used to it here and there, but I find it's very consistent for always having burst, or always having cooldowns every pack. You pretty much always have Recklessness and Ravager on every pack, which just makes your overall damage just feel a lot smoother. Your burst potential isn't as high as Odin's Fury, but that's completely fine because at least now we have damage on every pack.
5, 4, 3.
So we're going to let the key start.
1.
I was testing out my my Blaze Binder's Hoof in this run, which I'm not really enjoying, honestly. I've swapped off it now. I'm using the trinket from Shadow Moon, the Big Moore's Bone Toe or something like that.
Avoid.
I'm finding that a lot more consistent. So last week was the bolstering week with storming, so it was a little bit slower because you couldn't really chain as hard, but we still made it work. So I decided to focus this big Juggernaut because he had so much more HP compared to everything else, so I just cleaved off him.
5.
So then he doesn't just get super huge and just one-shot the tank. Which he still does get pretty huge. Just because he has so much more HP. That's a big Juggernaut right there. Ruby Life Pools is like one of the harder pug dungeons I've found over the weeks, especially when it comes to the last boss. The last boss causes so many problems. But on these packs, you mainly want to stun these Terra Sentries when they do. I'm not sure what the cast is called exactly, but it's like they're in one hard channel, and you have to stun it. You can't kick it. We'll see it when it happens. Say we stun out there. It's not the stone missile. But we have a lot of lockdown in this group, which is really nice. Because if the cast goes out, it does a massive pulse onto everyone in the group. I'm going to see what it looks like in this pack. We're just slamming it too hard. For sure this is the week where I got all my spark crafted gear, which I was mainly clicking dirt in that to get the sparks, but that seems to have been nerfed quite a bit. I only just got my next spark yesterday after 2 weeks since I got all my sparks. And that was doing a bunch of M+. And still clicking a lot of dirt because I was trying to see if it was still happening. Tectonic Slam, that's what it's called, from the Earthshaper. That one needs to be stopped. So I'm pretty sure we want to get more of our percent earlier so then we can skip the Fire Dragon in the next area, because the Fire Dragon on Fortified really hurts. So not one of those Tectonic Slams. So I got stopped last second. This trash just has there's a lot of trash. There's a lot of HP. It's pretty straightforward. I feel like most groups get through this first area not too bad. But then this first boss, the tank gets kind of slapped around a bit. This mob here is a big tanky boy. Even on Tyrannical weeks, this guy has a lot of HP. We're gonna have Ravager and our Recklessness back.
The elements answer to me.
Yeah, it's just moving for the little swirlies on the
Dodge.
ground and then dodging this Blazing Rush. It's not too bad.
Dodge.
Like, we put our Ravager and our Recklessness on this guy, and they're already back up again. So we can just send them again, because they'll be back in no time anyways. And that's the main thing with this build, is you just want to be permanently sending your Ravager and Recklessness off cooldown. There's like some niche cases where you could see benefit from holding it like 5 or 6 seconds to line up your Spear and Avatar. But even then, like, the more you have it on cooldown, the better.
Dodge.
Because you're just losing value on anger management if it's sitting on cooldown. And you're spending rage. So we can charge in. So I'm gonna pop all my cooldowns here. If I was gonna be like an absolute like pad monkey, I would have just like held on to all my cooldowns until the ads came out, but this boss is just, I like getting it down more than the ads, and the rest of our comp is pretty good for just annihilating ads anyways.
Wins.
So it's good when your group decides to drop all these little spikes or pretty close together, because then you can just move as a group away. It's a lot easier.
Ads.
So we got ads coming in. So we're going to stand on the opposite side of the boss, so that if they do aggro, the first person they're going to try and go onto is the tank. But as you see, we still have our Recklessness and our Ravager back up for the first ad set anyways. So sending our cooldowns off the rip's like not even that bad. That's why you don't want to hold anything. As you can see, like, we literally just popped them, and they're already like about to be back off cooldown again.
Wins.
I just find this build so much fun. I've been playing some arms keys as well, but this build is just like, it's so consistent that I find it hard to like not play this build.
Ads.
Get the next set of ads out. We have Spear for this set at least, but we just sent it on the boss because we're going to wait for him to come in. In this point, I could have held my Spear for another 2 seconds. Like, I already held it for like a couple seconds anyways. But this DH is all over it.
Wins. AoE.
You can also pop your Spell Reflect as this is about to pop, just to reduce the amount of damage that it does. I find warriors are like really tanky for this fight. You see a lot of other classes that like struggle to deal with every one of these chill storms, but like we just have Spell Reflect for everyone. We can impending victory pretty much everyone as well. Moving for more hail bombs. And the boss is pretty much dead. Boom. So I'm gonna wait for our dragons.
Good work, champion. Now that you have secured the pools below,
Wee.
I require your aid.
I found that most groups I get into when pugging is with like either Blood Decays or Brewmaster Monks. A lot of people don't like running like Prot Warrior and like Warrior DPS for some reason, even though it's completely fine.
Pools are in grave danger. A powerful primalist is attempting to burn all the nesting areas. You must clear them to get to her. I will keep watch from above.
So it's so funny that like everyone's mounts always run sideways as soon as you like get off that dragon for some reason. had the
Dodge.
debuff on me, got dispelled off me, and this hurts on fortified weeks. I've heard that some people have been like lusting this dragon here, which is kind of wild to me.
Dodge.
Like, yeah, it hurts. And I mean, if your lust is off cooldown, you probably should just slam it anyways. I feel like a lot of groups like waste a lot of lust usages.
Dodge. Dodge.
But yeah, it's very straightforward, just dodging the breath. And making sure your healer can heal through the big damage that goes out. This dungeon is just like a big healer check. Pop in my puzzle box. Kicking cinder bolts when you
AoE.
can. Because they hurt. You can also throw like your spell reflect up to reflect them. But most of the times, like, I'll put my reflect up to try and reflect something, but then it'll get kicked anyways. It'll just get cancelled. It's a bit hard to communicate that, especially in pub
AoE.
groups.
Five, four,
These flame dancers have a cast called Flame Dance, and you want to stun that as soon as you can. Just puts out a lot of damage on the group. You can spell reflect a tick of the Flame Dance as well. Ooh, Cinderbolt Reflect for 139k. Pretty good. Nice little blinding sleep from the DK there.
Marked by lightning.
See, I opt to run the like AoE fear talent because it's always nice when you're pugging to have that extra stop, especially if you overlap something. So at least you have an extra stop for like important casts.
AoE.
And the node you're dropping to even like get the AoE fear is like it's just like a whirlwind
No.
sort of passive. And your whirlwind does like very minimal of your damage overall in the whole dungeon. So with the
AoE.
circle you can just like drop it on the mobs and it'll like knock them up. It's like a free CC. I like to focus these destroys as well
AoE.
in these packs because if they get bolstered and they do this inferno, like that really hurts the whole group.
Marked by lightning.
Knock.
Clutch heal right the last second there. Holy.
five,
I feel like these Scorchlings there like waste a bit of time. I feel like it's better just to like mount up and just like pull them with your mount and then just like run them into the next pack. You just gotta make sure that your healer like goes past the group just so they don't get beaten up by them. So we pull this pack up this like little bit of stairs a little bit
AoE.
just so we can try and avoid the the fire dragon coming across. Because he kind of like swoops through.
AoE.
The elements answer to me.
This dungeon's had like a lot of nerfs over the last like month, which is kind of wild. I think it was funny because like on the beta, a lot of people were like, "This is a free key." Everyone was like having so much fun with this dungeon, and then I got to live, and then everyone just like started brick walling at it, and they were like, "Okay, we don't like this dungeon anymore," so they just stopped playing it. And now you have that like backlogged effect of like people that have been like dodging this dungeon for a long time, that when they finally play it, they're like kind of bad at knowing all the mechanics. Ask the healer. Ask the lock for more lock rocks, because I've been popping these things off cooldown. Which, if you got a lock, you might as well. So we're now just waiting for the flame guy to fly away. Then we can pull all these scorchlings into the next pack.
AoE.
But yeah, like once you understand like the mechanics of like the 3 mob types up here, this whole area is like pretty straightforward. Just kick cinder bolts, stun the flame dancers, and then just put the circle on the mobs, and then move out the big circle of the destroyer. That's pretty much it.
AoE.
Big Inferno going out. Pop Spell Reflect. Mitigate some of the damage. It's very spooky when the Blaze of Glory is going off, because those little swirlies hurt a lot. So I had to pull in these little Scorchlings so we don't have to fight them individually on the while we're waiting for the next pack, or waiting for the boss. So they can just simply get cleaved down. Cinderbolt Reflect. Pogging out, hell yeah.
The elements answer to me.
No stop for this one. But for some reason, it was doing no damage to us anyways. Lucky us. Healer gets some
Bait.
mana. This boss, you really want to try and bait the meatballs very good. We have like this this run, we actually have like really sketchy baits.
Add.
So once the ad spawns, you kind of want to wait on the other side of the boss until he does the boulder and then go to the ad. But as you see, like, we had somebody move in mid-movement and we have a meatball going straight down the side we need to go. So realistically, we should have just gone for like a long run just straight past that.
Bait.
But we decided to still like play over here. But we can't go that other side because there's the fire dragon over there. So we have to end up going the super spooky side.
Add. Dodge. AoE.
So that was a good meatball bait. You'll be really careful with baiting the meatballs like onto these like ledges and pillars, because if the meatball hits it, it'll just like blow up instantly and do a lot of damage.
Dodge.
Get pranked. I see everyone go this way, so I follow them this way. But we actually need to go to the other side. So we pop our defensive and we make the run for it. We almost die, but we don't.
Add dodge.
Another bad boulder
AoE.
bait. So it's really like scary with this Firestorm. He does like this proximity based like melee that you want to have the tank kind of standing
Dodge.
closer to him than everyone else and taunt him.
Bait.
So now we're going to wait behind the boss.
Add dodge.
There's a good bait there. And then we can move
AoE.
on to the ad.
Dodge. Bait.
I feel like some people play it like really close to the edge of the last zone. But like all you're really
Dodge.
doing by that is just like saving time when you have to like run back to go down the stairs. But yeah, our baits have been very suboptimal here.
Dodge.
But it's not really something that like a solo person can bait. You kind of need the whole group baiting it together.
Bait.
Well, with all that shenanigans, we still kill the boss. It's a Christmas miracle.
Monster. I protected these life pools. No.
We have Lust up, ready for the last boss.
Marked by lightning.
AoE.
The Lightning Storm just does like a lot of AoE pulse damage. Once he was bolstered, you'd probably want to pop like an AoE defensive for the group. But just kicking these Thunderbolts, making sure you don't get leapt on by these little thunderclouds,
AoE.
and you're pretty much laughing. They made the Thunderclap that these Storm Warriors actually like apply a debuff to you now, which kind of sucks. It's like 10% less haste or something like that. It's not very convenient, but it is what it is. You can't really avoid it though either. These flame channelers have like a flame cast that you want to like insta kick. Because if it goes off, this flash fire, if it goes off, it just like heals them back up to full. That's the only real thing you need a kick rotation on in this pack.
AoE.
This pack has a lightning channeler in it, which is the lightning storms. But yeah, this pack hurts a fair amount, especially on fortified.
AoE.
But the final pack here is he's a big damage boy. It's like the one
AoE.
instance where I decide to like save my try to save my cooldowns because I know that we've got this big pack coming up next. And it is one you definitely want all of your cooldowns ideally going into. I'm gonna kill some thunderclouds. Just because ideally you want to have these like killed before you pull the boss. Because if they do that thunder leap, I've seen people get one shot by standing in like multiple of those little thunder leaps at once.
Marked by lightning.
AoE.
Got a lightning storm there. The next one's gonna be kind of scary because it's gonna be a bolstered one.
AoE.
We managed to survive.
AoE.
Get Zephyr for this last one here. It's not bad.
Marked by lightning.
See, that was the nice little
5,
lightning guys.
4,
AoE.
Great time. Pop all out offensives there.
Your force could
Kind of spooky. Our healer's almost out of mana.
we are the truth.
3 minutes for the last boss, or just under 3 minutes. So you want to play this boss, but like between these two pillars and in front of it, because you want to bait this dragon to land on the platform, so then your damage can hit it. You want to be punching this dragon as hard as you can while you can,
Stop cast.
because at 50%, or if either Stormvane gets to 50% or the dragon gets to 50%, he'll then mount up and enter phase 2. So you don't want to hit Stormvane too hard while you're waiting for the dragon to come back down. And ideally, you even want to wait for the dragon to like land at like 51% and then beat it up while it's doing this flame breath, so it goes into phase 2 even weaker. So you can play this phase like quite slowly if you control your DPS, but a lot of people just like to go crazy and just like zug, but you can play it smartly. A lot of people just choose not to because I don't think they quite understand how it works. So look, we got this fire breath here. So realistically, if we can stop hitting it now, so it's going to fly away with like 52%. So then it's going to be able to land one more time while we're punching Stormvane if we don't phase it.
Stop cast.
So yeah, we didn't phase it. So now we get to hit it, and it's in below 50%. So now we just get like free damage here without it doing any dangerous mechanics. And then always save Lost for phase 2 here. The amount of groups I see, they just rip it at the start.
Stop cast.
That's trolling. You do not want to rip your Lost at the start. So ideally, you want to drop these puddles out on the edge. But yeah, we just punch this dragon. Dragon is #1 priority. Once he's done, there's no more fire puddles. The damage that this does to the whole group drops by a bajillion%. It was a great time. Now we've got Stormvane to deal with. And it's a great time. As long as your tank gets dispelled, you live. Alright. That's a key. We ended up on 89.7k overall, which is not too bad. We'll take it. But yeah, a very solid key. Let's have a look at our breakdown. Rampage. Yep, that's the button. You want to be pressing that one. Executes definitely up there. And then Ravager, of course, and Onslaught. And yeah, it's a very fun build. You're always pressing buttons, which feels really good. But yeah, that's going to be the video, guys. Let me know what the highest Ruby life pools you've done is in the comment section below. Let me know if you've tried out this new Onslaught build. I'll leave it in the description of the video. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.